Work moves fast. Every email, report, and proposal counts. That's where Grammarly comes in. It's your one place to think, write, and finish. Grammarly's AI agents help you find natural phrasing, fine-tuned tone, and confidently write wherever you work. It's the premier writing tool that 93% of users trust to get more work done. In a world of generic AI, don't sound like everyone else. With Grammarly, you never will. Download Grammarly for free at Grammarly.com.
So should you ask for cash or credit? Hey, wave phrases can get people to spend twice as much. There's a psychology behind this. For people to hand over $100 in plastic in credit is a little easier sometimes than $20 in cash. We tend to haggle more with cash. We negotiate more with cash. In fact, Harvard research showed that credit cards in a game can make people bid 113% more. We know it works. You have to be very, very careful of your mindset and their mindset to understand cash or credit. Let's do it.
Maximize your influence. Kurt Mortensen is the author of Persuasion IQ, Laws of Charisma, and the best-selling book, Maximum Influence.
This is Maximize Your Influence, podcast 597. Kurt Mortensen here. So take a deep dive into persuasion, motivation, influence today, cash, and credit to make sure you get more tools in your persuasion, influence, negotiation toolbox. So there is a psychology behind using a credit card versus cash. It changes how we perceive the experience, feel about the experience. Again, those subconscious triggers we've been talking about, that feeling. In most persuasion, it has to feel right. And spending money versus credit is different. Sometimes we like the thought about paying later, pushing it down the road, because a lot of times a credit transaction feels a little more abstract, delayed. I'm not losing money immediately. I'll have a chance to make more. Cash, on the other hand, causes some emotional discomfort. We've been taught our whole lives what it's worth. It's in our hand. There's value right there. So handing over a couple of physical bills makes the cost feel immediate and real, and I'm not getting that back. Versus credit, again, we're pushing it down the road, and that can reduce resistance and boost willingness to pay. So how we ask, what we ask for, when we ask for is all part of the persuasion process. One of the first things to understand here is you should be excited to ask for a payment, any payment. This is how you get paid. You shouldn't get all tense and uneasy. This is the fun part. This is the good part when you do it the right way. So understanding this money psychology, cash credit, is critical in sales negotiation because persuaders who do ask for credit, it can get people to spend more. It seems more affordable, especially when you're doing those high-ticket deals. Again, if you're selling candy bars, probably not going to matter. If you're negotiating big deals, doing big real estate transaction, it could really matter. Now, this has been called the credit card effect, payment decoupling, a lot of ways to look at it. Even casinos know the drill. They extract your money right away because it's just not the same to throw out a $100 chip versus a $100 bill. Same type of psychology. So let's talk about this persuasion blunder, this mistake. Homer? Don't! Sometimes it's just the default, cash or credit, cash or card. I mean, it's default, it's what we say, it's an easy close, but it really doesn't work. You have to get into their psychology of where they're at. Did you ask enough questions to even know? Because when you ask for credit, it does reduce the pain of paying, especially those larger purchases. For example, you're talking to someone that's selling a car, they're talking to the customer, and in the salesperson mind, hey, we want cash, we want a certified check, we don't want to pay merchant fees. That's what they're thinking. It'll speed things up, it'll be less paperwork. That's what's going through their mind, but not the prospect's mind. When they're looking at the $50,000 price tag, cash, whoa, that's a lot of money. I don't even make that in a month, they're thinking. So they have to get out of their world. Oh, it's more paperwork, right? It's going to cost more. And realize that buyers will spend 15 to 20% more when you offer credit. Behavioral economics research shows that showing credit cards acts as a reward accelerator. In fact, I remember a study I was reading that just showing the credit card on the door, people actually spend more even if they only took cash. So make sure you ask the questions. Maybe they are cash people. Test your credit language first. Put it in your script. See how they react. You should know exactly what they want to do. You could put up credit card logos if you want, or easy pay options to make it as easy as possible. And especially for those high-ticket items, get ready for credit or financing. See where they react. Again, they might be cash people, but for most people, it's a bad trigger. Seeing that big price tag, paying it right now, giving you cash if it's that type of an offer can really hurt your persuasiveness and your ability to seal the deal. Which takes us to the weekly Scarly article. This is Dr. Prelick and Dr. Simonster. Probably the most famous study on credit, cash. This was the one study that first showed us the numbers. And I'll post a link at maximizeyourinfluence.com along with the special. That's your home of your free Persuasion IQ assessment and everything you need to know about us. Also the spot to sign up your free newsletter. Make sure you get these podcasts every week. So this was done at MIT. They say that credit decouples the pleasure of acquisition from the immediate pain of payment, that mental accounting, making that spending feel more real. So this was done in Boston. People were bidding for Boston Celtic tickets. They also did Boston Red Sox. One group was told they could pay by credit card. And the other one's told they had to use cash on the spot. So on the Boston Celtic tickets, the credit card group, they were bidding back and forth on these tickets. The credit group was over $60, while the cash group was only $28 for the same ticket. It's 113% premium. Now on the Red Sox tickets, it was up 76%. So what does this tell us? That merely just asking for a credit card can more than double their willingness to pay. And it wasn't just casual. There was a direct correlation here. Basically, they found out credit cards seem to reduce somehow that psychological pain of spending. So if you can work out that the close when you're asking for the money, when you're asking for the business, how you're going to say it, we're going to talk about it. And the reason I'm on it today, let's talk about listener email.
Oh, boy!
This is Rajesh from Singapore, one of my favorite places. Says, Kurt, love the podcast. I am persuading with power. Awesome. I love to hear that. Keep your emails coming. Kurt at maximizeyourinfluence@gmail.com. Says, Kurt, I have a luxury watch shop here in Singapore. I've noticed that some customers get sticker shock when I mention cash, but they light up when I say credit card or installments. Should I train my staff to steer everyone toward credit? What do you know? What have you heard? What can you tell me? All right, love it. You know, I hate to say there's absolutes here because it could be, it depends on the situation. Some people only do cash. Some people want a cash discount. Time and a place. It's all about asking the right questions, getting into their psyche, see which way they lean. So because of that, that's our topic for the day. Let's talk about ways to apply this, ways to use it. There's definitely a psychology here. So first thing you need to think about, if you're not sure, you haven't asked the questions, you don't have a time, sometimes the persuasion process you have to guess, make credit the default easy option. Every time. Unless you found out otherwise, that's where I would lean, that's where I would go. So simply present maybe the credit card, the financing as the default payment system. And only mention cash if they ask or if you feel the vibe that no, they want to know about cash. Because a lot of times say, is there a cash discount? That tells you a lot. Because remember, there could be some tension there. They're getting close to the decision. It's more money than they thought. Credit reduces that pain of paying. It's not immediate loss. And it's something that consumers used to. So if you're using a proposal or maybe an online form, just have the credit financing option appear first. Maybe make it pre-checked. That's usually most people's, not everyone's, default option. You can train your reps to say, hey, which card would you like to use today? How would you like to pay? How would you like to invest? If you're not quite sure where they're at. Maybe if they do ask about cash, maybe the request is there. There could be a little credit nudge there to make it a little easier. 0% financing, no payments for 1 year. You've seen it many, many times. It just makes it easier. That's what car dealerships are trained to do. You're talking about high-ticket items. They lead with financing because there's been a big shift Not know if I'm happy about this. It's just reality is that people quit thinking about price a lot of times and they think in payments. They talk about the payments, and the payments are a lot more manageable than that big price. Then the next one is just good old-fashioned priming. We've talked about that on the podcast where you're priming their brain for the next thing they see, the next thing they do. Just by seeing a logo on your website, on your storefront, that primes people to use your credit card. That's priming. Again, the studies do show that a credit card logo symbol does increase how much people spend in a store on a website. So again, those logos, that priming could be on a website, on a proposal, mentioned in your presentation. Because remember, people see that symbol, people tend to spend more. So do you need a logo on your checkout page? Mention accepting financing credit cards in your presentation, maybe in emails. There are a variety of ways to do that. Again, the study by Feinberg showed that exposing that logo to people increased spending. Maybe you could say something like easy monthly payments somewhere in your presentation or on your website or on a checkout form. Remember, again, your consumer's thinking in installments, monthly payments, over time. That's easier to handle than the big lump sum. Because when you use credit, it actually decouples the payment from consumption, making the numbers feel smaller. Break down the price at X amount of dollars per month. We're going to put this on a credit card and spread those payments over the next 8 months, whatever the number is. And you see this at furniture stores. No payment for 12 months. Oh, phew, got time. Kicks the can down the road, and it changes how you mentally process it. So script out your presentation, script out the time you're going to ask for the credit, for the money. Simple thing too, like in restaurants. I don't remember our podcast on tipflation, but now they've got the readers there. They're getting higher tips. It's making things easier. There's credit prompts, and it has made a big difference using credit cards in their tips. One interesting study, they were doing the MRIs on the brain. They said that credit cards step on the gas in the brain reward networks. So there's pain in cash. Ouch, I'm giving it to you. I'll never see it again. The brain's actually triggering rewards when you're using credit cards. Now, again, some people just are going to use cash. Find out ahead of time, especially if you have a product or service that's not that expensive. It's low margin. Don't need a lot of urgency. Go ahead and use the cash. It's okay in those situations. Paying cash at a restaurant is much easier than cash for a car, mentally and psychologically speaking. So if I'm in the middle of a quick, fast discount negotiation, not a lot of money on the table, a lot of cash flow crunches, hey, cash up front, save this much money, especially when you know they're willing to do it and they're able to do it. Because you want to use cash if you want to increase that pain of paying, because what it does to the buyer, to the negotiation, they're more motivated to finish quickly and accept smaller discounts. So if speed's an issue, offer a small cash discount right up front. Cash buyers get priority at scheduling. We see this in real estate. We need to move the house. We got to get it done. That's the time you can use the pain. Another thing you can do with credit, I don't know if this happened to you, it's happened to me, where there's credit rewards or points or frequent flyer miles or something you get back. Now it's really worth it. Not only does it kick the can down the road, I get a bonus here. I get cash back. I get double points, or even takes the pain another notch. So I'm triggering rewards, reducing the perceived pain by giving them a reward. Maybe it's a co-branded offer. Maybe it's something extra they get. That's another magic word up there with credit is rewards, and give them a little something when they use their financing or the credit cards to give more rewards in the brain. Some people, that's all they use is credit cards because they get rewarded with miles, reward, kickbacks. It makes a difference. Now, when in doubt here, don't try to change everything at once. Do an A/B test. Try two different things. What's working best? and keep track of the numbers. How many yeses you get, how many no's you get. Every great marketer knows it's the A-B test, not an A, B, C, D, E, F test, because that's too much, just an A-B test. You get data that shows you what's working instead of just guessing. Test the words, test the placement, test the logos, test the timing. That's how you know. So, especially negotiation, but any form of persuasion, try to find out as early as you can what is their preference. Again, if you're not sure, it's always going to be credit, but find out, are these cash people, do they want a quick close? Are they ready to roll? Is money not an issue for them? Because remember, credit buyers are less price sensitive. Cash buyers make it a little bit harder to negotiate. They have that one option and they're expecting a better deal. So add some type of payment style question to the discovery. How are you looking to invest in this? How have you done this in the past? Remember, great persuaders ask 3 times more questions and they'll tell you everything you need to know once they trust you and they feel like you're really trying to find out exactly how to serve them and fit their needs. Then you could look at a discount strategy, being flexible for cash, and use that as you ask for payment. Because for some people, qualifying and more paperwork, and that's okay, but some people are programmed that way, and you need to find out as soon as possible. Another technique is offer instant credit approval. Again, people are like, oh, paperwork and approval and this and that. They think it's going to be hard and painful. Hopefully you could do it in-house. Hopefully you could make it quick and easy, because if they think it's going to be hard, that could stall your ability to persuade. So pre-approved credit lines apply now, or maybe get the process going while you're talking about something else. Make it quick and simple and easy, and it's not going to be painful for them. That removes all the friction and pain when that emotion starts to peak and they need to make a decision. The great thing is technology is making it quicker, easier, and faster. Because if you can tell if someone can get you approved in 60 seconds, in 3 minutes, let them know, because their brain's like, days, hours, paying 112 signatures. Let them know, 2 signatures, 60 seconds. We'll get you approved. We'll get you going, and you're going to drive it home today, whatever your product or service is. And final thing to think about, using credit, not only for the rewards, not only to make it easier, but building long-term deals. We see this in retail stores. They have their own personal credit, their own personal rewards, their own personal perks, and that just builds loyalty and, again, makes it much easier for you to get the yes. So let them know not only is it credit, but there are rewards, there's other perks. They get maybe a bigger discount that day, makes it easier, builds loyalty. And of course, your goal is a customer for life. And that even makes it easier for reoccurring card billing. There are a lot of companies out there, especially SaaS companies, software as a service, like Netflix or Salesforce. Ding, ding, every month they bill you. They make it easy, it's simple, it just happens, and it reduces the pain. Now, the cons of credit, there's processing fees, there's chargeback risk, there's delayed funds. It could take a couple of days. There could be some fraud exposure. There's some cons there, but hey, if it doubles, triples what you do, it's worth it. Now, the pros of taking cash, immediate funds, 0 fees, they're serious buyers, no chargebacks. It just makes it a lot easier. Cons, remember, you're building that pain. There's a lower willingness to pay, limits that impulse buying, and it's really hard to scale online or being remote. So there you have it. That's Maximize Your Influence. That's the podcast for today. That's podcast 597. Everything you need will come in your email. Remember to check us out on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, YouTube. Tell your family, friends, and enemies about the podcast. I'm going to continue with the special that costs you nothing. Go to MaximizeYourInfluence.com. Click on the link at the very top of the webpage. Free persuasive presentation assessment. Pretty simple. What you're looking for. It could be an audio. It could be a video. It could be a Zoom call. It could be, I'll even take a look at your script and let you know if it's going to be persuasive or not. There'll be a place to upload it, what you're looking for, what's going to happen. Let me prove my worth. I'm a professional speech coach. Anybody can present, but are you persuasive? Anybody can communicate, but are you convincing? There's a big shift. We got to combine both the worlds of your presentation skills, whether it's online or face-to-face or over the phone, and your ability to persuade and influence. Or maximize your influence at gmail.com. Again, thanks for being here. Appreciate your love and support. Take something you learned today, master it, use it, understand cash, credit, debit, investment, the words you use it, how you're saying it, who you're saying it to makes a big difference. Become a better influencer, become more charismatic, become a better marketer, and as you know, go out and persuade with power.